You're welcome to another edition of Hashtag your number one social media and technology program. I am Korede Aziz. On our first segment, we discuss some of the trends that made waves over the past week on social media. First off, Aldo Maikori. Aldo Maikori is the CEO of Chocolate City. He's also a lawyer and a public speaker. He published an article with this photo. And then the Godfather on Twitter called him out, saying, "Here is another terrible falsehood by Aldo Maikori, lying and fueling hatred." And then he went on to say, Aldo Maikori is a threat to peace, and I urge the DSS to invite him for a chat. We cannot solve a crisis by falsehood and fueling hatred. Now, the Godfather's tweets got quite a number of replies. A lot of people were against him, while others were against Aldo. Let's take a look at some of those reactions. At Mexico points out that the Godfather never called for the arrest of the people that killed innocents, but he wants Aldo's arrest. At Mufti001 wonders, why can't we write Twitter to ban the likes of Aldo, who derive pleasure by creating further crisis with falsehoods? Ananim asks, if the DSS had invited the killers in southern Kaduna to a chat, would Aldo have had any falsehood to spread? And Conqueror says you should not allow politics to erase your humanity so much that you start subtly supporting the spilling of innocent blood. Now let's take a look at a couple of tweets that Aldo Maikori sent out before the Godfather lashed out at him. This one reads, "My driver's younger brother and 5 other students of College of Education Gidanwaya were ambushed and killed by herdsmen." And then he says, "I will provide pictures and even video evidence of my driver reporting it right away. I wouldn't lie about the death of a human being." For those that are claiming that I created stories to push falsehood, it's really unfortunate. You cannot ruin my name or reputation because I have decided to speak up for my people. You cannot stop the truth. Are we saying that people have not been killed in my area? So what is the falsehood I am spreading? Who paid me? Please provide evidence. When the special advisor to the Kaduna State Governor, Mariam Abubakar, tweeted, "Stop the Aldo is a target because he speaks out rubbish. He tells lies for his selfish reasons, and it is unacceptable at a time like this," Aldo quoted her saying, "It's official. The essay to the Kaduna State Governor confirms I'm a target. Well noted." And then he comments, "It's a sad day for Nigeria and me. 800 people were killed, and the matter didn't trend, but Aldo is trending for speaking about it." Now let's take a look at some other reactions across Twitter. Replying the Godfather's tweet, DTF Young asks, "Has the DSS managed to arrest these herdsmen yet? You know, the ones actually doing the murdering Aldo is threatening peace about." King Alfred wants Aldo to remain firm as he points out that the British government said Mandela was a terrorist. And that's the British government, not irrelevant politicians' stooges. Take a look at this tweet by Bernard Wankwo. He says, "At Ayub," that is the Godfather, "is like the man in the Igbo adage that sees a neighbor's corpse as firewood." And Mother Superior thinks it's funny that Aldo is making money from southern Kaduna killings, and then goes on to say, "You people are mad, and I am here to tell you." Intrepid tweets, "I stand with Aldo because I have suffered personally from violence in southern Kaduna over the years. You have to live there to understand." Meanwhile, Pen Abdul thinks this Aldo guy is a clear case of a sinister propaganda warfare launched to create an atmosphere of hatred against Islam and the Muslims. Michael Sprout points out that unlike the herdsmen of Abuja, Aldo has refused to remain silent while his people in southern Kaduna are killed in their hundreds. Nellilicious thinks, if Aldo Maikori is more of a problem to you than the fact that your fellow Nigerians are dying, then your brain needs shetox. Hadiza Potts thinks Aldo Maikori is a liar and a bigot. He is being called out and now people have a problem with it. Like it or not, he was caught pants down. Matthews Jeremiah says he read Aldo's tweets and saw a man who is deeply concerned about the killings going on in his town, and then he cheers on Aldo. Poximus Prime tweets, "Aldo Maikori is a threat to peace, not the killings going on, not the killers." Aldo Maikori is the threat? What a time to be alive. Meanwhile, at Chukaobi posts two screenshots of the Godfather's contradicting tweets, saying, "You're one to talk, forked tongue for hire." Apparently, on the 25th of August 2014, the Godfather posted a video of Boko Haram. And then on the 25th of September 2016, he says, "Stop sharing Boko Haram videos. Stop allowing terrorists to use you as their willing media sources." Now another topic that got the whole world talking, Trump and his wall. Donald Trump has been on the news for the past week or so for the fast pace at which he is fulfilling his campaign promises. Normally, this should be a good thing, but this time, not quite. Firstly, Donald Trump insists that Mexico will pay for his wall to keep Mexicans out of America. Trump's wall is called the prison wall for a reason. It will span 1,954 miles, stretching from the Gulf of Mexico to the Pacific Northwest, even over mountains, making construction extremely difficult. It is estimated to cost about $25 billion to build, and another $2.1 billion per year for maintenance and to employ 21,000 Border Patrol agents. Of course, the Mexican president, Enrique Peña Nieto, refused to pay for the wall, and he went on to cancel the meeting he had with Trump at the White House. Let's have a feel of how people felt about these developments on social media. At T-Pain USA tweets, Trump says he'll make Mexico pay for the wall against its will, so he'll treat Mexico no different than he treats a pageant contestant. Tony Poznansky wishes Trump will be more honest with the American people. He says Mexico never said they would pay, and the wall is a shrine to Trump. Zerlina Maxwell says Mexico has told us in 2 languages that they ain't paying for our stupid wall, but maybe they need to go on Fox and say it so Trump sees it. Now let's take a look at this poll created by Rochelle DePompa. Do you agree with President Donald Trump's order to build a border wall between the U.S. and Mexico? After 9,137 votes, 65% voted yes, while 35% voted no. If these figures are anything to go by, then Americans want that wall. And that's not all. While British Prime Minister Theresa May was visiting the White House, President Trump signed an executive order that prevents entry to Syrians indefinitely, all other refugees for 4 months, and bans travelers from 7 Middle Eastern countries for the next 90 days. These countries are Syria, Iraq, Iran, Sudan, Libya, Somalia, and Yemen. Trump's order affected even those with dual citizenship, including British citizens. By the way, Theresa May refused to antagonize Trump on this, saying, "The United States is responsible for the United States policy on refugees." Just so you know, the ban also applies to flight crew. Lawyers and human rights groups quickly set to work, filing lawsuits which argued that the orders went against both the spirit of the U.S. Constitution and the letter of the American law. Also, a federal judge in Brooklyn put part of the order on hold when he ruled that the U.S. could not deport people after they had landed at U.S. airports with valid visas. In announcing his plans, Mr. Trump invoked the September 11, 2001 attacks. However, most of the 19 plane hijackers were from Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Egypt, and Lebanon, all countries not included on the ban list. You cannot begin to imagine the chaos and heartbreak the ban caused when it was put into full force on Friday afternoon. Let's head on to Twitter. Twitter tweeted, "Twitter is built by immigrants of all religions. We stand for and with them always." Thomas quotes Twitter's tweet and suggests that they delete Donald Trump's account. Chris McNichols tweets, "A lot of all lives matter people, perfectly fine with a Muslim ban." To which Deplorable Joe replies saying, "It's called protecting the citizens of this country from people who want to kill us." Canadian President Justin Trudeau was being very noble when he tweeted, "To those fleeing persecution, terror and war, Canadians will welcome you regardless of your faith. Diversity is our strength. Hashtag welcome to Canada. Robert Ward clearly thinks this was a leisurely response to a depressing week of walls, bans, and alternative facts. SPLC dug up a tweet sent out by Vice President Mike Pence 2 years ago. Calls to ban Muslims from entering the US are offensive and unconstitutional. Clearly, he's changed his mind. At USA Needs Trump is on Trump's side as he tweets, a temporary pause in immigration from countries tied to terrorism while we work for a better vetting process isn't a Muslim ban. It is smart. Ben Barn thinks the concept of determining who merits refuge based on religious belief is bigotry in its purest sense, shameful politics of fear. Meanwhile, Laurie Hendry thanks Trump for putting American citizens' civil rights before illegals and refugees. Antonia Petri replies her saying, but not before his business interests. Keep thinking he cares about more than his bottom line. Scott Dworkin points out that Trump didn't include Saudi Arabia in the Muslim ban because he registered 8 new companies there in the past year. Truth Bombers wants to make sure we all know that Obama's administration banned Iraqis for 6 months in 2011 and nobody protested. Toby Stephens points out that in the USA, you're far more likely to be shot by a fellow citizen than a refugee. At Brazen_McNugget points out that both the hypocrisy of the religious rights and the silence of the All Lives Matter rabble on this Muslim refugee ban are very instructive. Ryan Legg tweets, these 7 countries part of the so-called Muslim ban was a list created by Obama as a security risk for terrorism to US citizens. Interesting. Cheetown Talker thinks the Trump ban is not a Muslim religion ban, it's a political country ban, but Islam and politics are identical in these countries. Hashtag USA Safety. Literature lovers around the world mourn the death of literary legend Buchie Emecheta. She died on Wednesday, January 25, 2017, aged 72. Determined to get an education, she studied at the Methodist Girls' School on a full scholarship. At age 16, she married her betrothed, Sylvester Onwadi, and immediately the couple moved to Britain. She wrote in her spare time to somewhat escape from her unhappy and violent marriage. Her husband, however, burned her first manuscript, The Bride Price. 6 years into the marriage and 5 children later, she left her husband and had to work while she studied to take care of her children. Buchie Emecheta is the author of more than 20 books, including Second Class Citizen, The Bride Price, The Slave Girl, and The Joys of Motherhood. The most prevalent of her themes are child slavery, motherhood, female independence, and freedom through education. She has won several awards and honors, including an Order of the British Empire in 2005.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
Before we head on for a break, some thriller jams we just couldn't ignore. ever played a game made by Nigerians in Nigeria? For some reason, everyone I ask says no.
Have you played any mobile games made by Nigerians?
I don't think so.
Have you played any games made by Nigerians?
Wow. That'll be something out of the extraordinary, but I haven't, I think. Yeah.
Nigerians.
Not at all.
Don't be shocked to learn that there are loads of Nigerian games out there, good ones and crappy ones. Sometime between 2012 and 2013, I stumbled on this website where I could play dozens of Nigeria-themed games. Kulia.com was launched in October 2012. The online gaming platform developed Nigerian-themed games and launched over 50 casual games and about 5 mobile games. One of their most popular games at the time was Mayoga at the Top, which was played 60,000 times within the first 72 hours. They also had a Leader Ikeji game and several other games based on the Nigerian lifestyle. At some point, the online gaming company even raised a small seed stage investment worth $2 million. They hit this jackpot right after they launched their redesigned site Kulia 2.0, where users were able to challenge other players and make money through competitive cash games. Kulia chairman Jason Njoko, who is also the founder of Iroko TV, said in his blog that Kulia was his first angel investment. I was so excited about the prospects of Kulia.com, but fast forward 4 to 5 years and Kulia.com does not exist anymore. Let's find out if these guys would be interested in playing a Nigerian game.
You still keep on saying this made by Nigerians. I would definitely not play a game that is made by Nigerian because for obvious reasons, poor quality, the game, it will be very, very boring. I know that for a fact.
So what if I show you a game that's really good, better than Temple Run, or maybe like Temple Run? Would you play it?
You really need to pull something out of your sleeves to get a game that is as good as Temple Run and it's made by a Nigerian. But trust me, there is no game that is going to match the standard so long as it's made by a Nigerian. At least for now, yeah.
Found any that
Yeah, sure. I'd love to try something different.
Okay, I'm going to recommend.
Mhm.
But if you could play Nigerian games on your phone, would you do that? Would you download them?
Not at all. Download my MB. No. I won't even try Nigerian because it's always interesting,
But what if it's a really good game?
I would rather collect it from someone than download it.
No, wahala, but would you collect it?
I would try.
Would you play any game made by Nigerians? Would you play a game?
A Nigerian game?
Yeah.
Actually, I would love to try.
You'd
I'd love to
try
give it a try.
Okay. Now, if you try the game and it's really good, would you pay for it?
Definitely.
Alright.
But one thing is, it might not be the best quality which I would be expecting in a game.
But what if it is actually really good? What if it's good enough to compete with other games?
I would love to play it, if it is.
Now, how about I expose you to some of the Nigerian games out there? Monkey Post. I managed to play Monkey Post after paying 150 naira to use the gaming platform of one of the major network providers. After downloading this game, I had to pay 40 naira to have access to play the game for 1 day. Needless to say, I was pissed off with all the hassle and currency was costing to play just one game. I might have felt differently though if it was a one-time payment. This game by Chap Up might be a hit for football lovers. I like it because of its local flavor. You get to play with local Lagos teams, and as you progress, you get in state, national and international leagues. You can customize your players' abilities, your club and jersey. I might not be a footy lover, but the game's got something. Street Teens is a role-playing game where you get to start up a small-scale business with 50,000 naira startup capital. You are to make smart business decisions to turn profit. It's a pretty straightforward game. The graphics might not be high up there and I wish there were more levels, but I didn't stop playing until I had gone through all the levels. This one was developed by Co-Creation Hub. Aboki Run. You guessed it. It's an endless running game that features an Hausa man. As you progress, you can unlock more characters and locations. This one is by Malio Games. I actually downloaded and played about 90% of their games. The games were graphically appealing and were available on the Android platform for free. Easy peasy. And finally, our tech tip of the day. Basic password security tips.
Get into the habit of changing passwords regularly, especially if you have a Yahoo account and use that same password across different sites. The same goes for security questions and answers, some of which were compromised in the Yahoo breach. Use a complex combination of numbers, upper and lowercase letters, as well as symbols. If you have trouble remembering multiple passwords across different sites, try a manager like LastPass or 1Password. Turn on two-factor authentication on your accounts if available. This will generate a one-time code usually sent via text message or in an app that you can use to verify your login. Be careful of phishing attacks that ask you to click a link in an email to enter sensitive information. Never disclose your password or personal account details over email, even if it looks like it's from a legitimate source. Finally, consider deleting accounts on sites you rarely use.
And that's it on this edition of Hashtag. Thank you very much for joining us. I am Korede. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at PCV Hashtag. And if there's any interesting discussion going on that you'd like us to talk about, kindly tag us. I am Korede Aziz. See you next time.